Welcome into From the Nosebleeds. This is the world's softest edition of the show because Vince has his panties in a bunch today. So that's going to be a real fun time. We're here for an hour, so that's going to be good. We have a lot to discuss today. Vince, I promise I won't cut you off. All right, I promise I won't cut you off.
Seamus might be the most unprofessional podcaster of all time.
It's what the people want, dude. We have to be authentic with our audience. If there's problems...
I didn't know we were professionals.
Well, I consider myself an amateur professional, all right?
Well,
but if
it's not a thing.
Contradiction.
People need to understand what's happening here. And if I cut you off too much, I'm sorry. But my advice to you is just run me over, man. Just run me over full force. Because the problem with me is, man, I get too excited about the topics at hand, and I'm really passionate, like Tucker Carlson and Don Lemon.
You know what we should
you know
do?
what happened? You know what happened to those guys? They took those two passionate motherfuckers right off the air.
You know what we should do? We should get like a...
We should see if they want to come on the podcast.
I mean, they do need jobs.
We should hook up a boot on a lever, and then every time that Seamus starts to interrupt Vince, you just hit it and it kicks him in the nuts.
Dude, I'm all for that. Dude, that's good content.
Seamus would not be able to have kids by the end of this podcast.
That's fine with me.
He wasn't going to have kids anyway. He jerks off like 85 times a day.
Vince, we need you to be more like, all right, I know this is going to be difficult for you to do. We need you to pretend I'm LeBron and you pretend you're Dylan Brooks, all right? What? Kick me in the balls.
You couldn't have thought of a better metaphor? Because I love LeBron.
All right, yeah, that's what I mean. But just kick me in the balls, all right?
Make him feel
me in the balls. Make me feel something. All right?
All right.
All right, so let's start the show with that. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations.
A little housekeeping there.
Yeah, we were doing a little housekeeping, knocking down the fifth blind in the room and wall so everybody could see what's going on.
Blind?
Yeah, the fifth blind. I don't know what people say.
There's a third eye blind.
There is. Do. But welcome into From the Nosebleeds. Jake is here. Jake, as you may not know, is the host of Talking 215, which is a great podcast. It was the first episode I ever sat down and truly listened to straight through. You know, there's a couple episodes when I found out who you were where I picked little episodes. I'm like, all right, that's fine. But it is a very good show, and I
just come out and say you don't listen to his podcast.
That's fine. Well, now I do. Now I listen to it, and it's very good. And you and the boys do a good job over there.
Yeah, got a good crew.
But this podcast is also good.
Oh, incredible.
And Vince, we could kick it off about talking about the Philadelphia 76ers advancing and sweeping the Brooklyn Nets.
My vindication has
Your
come
vindication has come through.
Fraud.
Vindication.
Wait.
Fraud.
First, if you're going to say that,
Fraud.
first we got to talk about how much of a doubter you were about 24 hours ago.
Fraud. Fraud.
Or was it 48? 48 hours ago?
I don't know
24.
how to count.
No, it was 24. It was after the Hawks beat the Celtics last.
All right, let's not kick Vince while he's down. He was correct.
I'm not down.
He was correct about the Brooklyn series. I was wrong. Pat was wrong. Taylor wanted them to get swept. But,
I never said that.
Me and O'Leary had a gentleman's sweep prediction. Vince said a full sweep. He said, I just don't see any way Brooklyn steals a game.
I think the important thing to remember is that Spencer Dinwiddie is now 0-4 since being called Spencer Dinwiddie.
So, I mean...
That might have ruined him. Yeah, he looked really bad in the series. Anyway,
James Harden looked pretty bad in the series.
Yes, he did.
We'll get into that later.
So I guess we'll just talk about the sweep. The last time we did a podcast, how many games in was the game? The series hadn't started yet,
the series had not started.
So we're recapping the whole guy. I mean, it wasn't really anything crazy. I mean, the first two games were a whole lot of Embiid double teams, and he kind of showed off his passing skills, which looked to be very much improved in those two games. He was passing out of doubles like really good. Harden really in the first couple games could not hit anything but a 3-pointer, and that kind of continued at the end of the series, which we'll get to in a minute. But there was nothing really out of the ordinary for the first 2 to 3 games. I mean, third game, I guess there was a little bit of drama with the Embiid kick, the Harden ejection. So let's start there because that's where it actually starts to get interesting. Start of the third game.
That was fucking sick.
Joel Embiid kicks Nick Claxton in the thigh/dick and balls area.
Dirty player,
He
man.
put his toe right in his butthole. It went right up.
That's not a nice visual.
So what was your guys' initial?
I mean, it kind of
exactly like that.
It actually depends on what you're into. I mean, for me, that's an okay visual.
This is old news, but my immediate thoughts were that he was gone, and I still I'm glad he didn't, but I still think he should have gotten kicked.
I 100% agree with you. He should have been ejected.
If that the only way I can really justify is if I was a fan of the Nets, or let's flip it like this: if someone did something like that to Tyrese Maxey or James Harden, I know they would never be a dickhead like Claxton. most likely because like he was just being really weird between that and then later in the game getting himself kicked out. But let's say James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, someone on our team got kicked like that. We would be calling for the player who did it to be ejected.
Absolutely. And I would go farther. I would say if it was Tyrese Maxey, I would be calling for charges of like child abuse, because that's our baby. He's, I like to think of Tyrese as our little baby.
He is. He's our prince.
He's
Taylor,
our
don't
prince.
make a funny face.
my boy.
He is our prince.
Jeff Garcia used to be our baby, and now it's Tyrese Maxey. Get over it, Taylor.
By the way, this is Taylor's last day sitting in on From the Nosebleeds. Like, in all seriousness, and Taylor, this is not a good way to go out. I don't want to remember you as a Tyrese Maxey hater.
When did I say anything bad about
It's
Tyrese?
just the radio guy smirk that you got going on.
What did I say about Tyrese Maxey? Please remind
it's
me.
what you didn't say, Taylor. It's what you didn't say about
So
him.
you don't have any evidence?
No, you should bootlick Tyrese Maxey and kiss his ring is what you should
He has
do.
no
He'll
ring.
be
has
back.
no ring, yeah.
But
But
he'll
let's
be
get
back
to
every
the-
4th week.
All right, well,
Yeah.
I'll be out
That's a
every fourth
shame.
week.
I was surprised with how strong the discourse was about Draymond Green stomping on Sabonis. I was very surprised that like Joel didn't get kicked out, being like
Yeah.
happening right after that.
And especially with all the shit that's been happening. It's
he was
just
getting
like
the
everybody's
MVP
getting hit in the
treatment.
Or
balls.
face a suspension.
yeah, or
Yeah.
that, or at least like
I mean, he missed the game anyway,
Yeah.
but
which there's already the conspiracy theorists that were before the like actual news of
The
the
shadow
actual injury
ban.
came out. Were like they didn't want to suspend the MVP for a game, so they told him to found but he's actually
Bad
hurt.
optics.
But like people,
Well,
on,
honestly, I kind of wish he had gotten kicked out because then he wouldn't have gotten hurt.
Right.
If we really
Oh,
want to
that
go,
would have
if
that
we
would have
were-
happened anyway. Come on.
would it
I,
have?
walk into the
I
locker
think
room.
I think
Yeah.
the only reason he didn't get kicked out was because he luckily missed Claxton's dick and balls.
He has
I-
athlete's foot from having it so far up his
I mean, he was like, listen, let's not pull any punches. He clearly meant to kick him there.
Yeah.
And he didn't, and he got lucky that he missed. So that opens it up to the next day or that night, the Charles Barkleys of the world and Stephen A. Smiths come on the TV and they talk about how it's either worse or just as bad as what Draymond did. And I think where I land on this is it's probably just as bad. Like Draymond, his was probably more dangerous because he stomped on like a rib cage, but as far as like intentional speaking going, like Joel meant to do that. He meant to kick him. Like I think that's pretty bad too.
Yeah, it warranted his suspension, but it didn't happen, or it did happen.
Yeah, well, no.
But,
once we find out the injury happened, but so then the rest of that game was pretty like weird. Joel kind of moped around the whole game, looking hurt. As we later find out, he was.
Playoff Joel, baby. He's
But
back.
the Sixers were able to win it off of a hot Maxey fourth quarter, and we move into Game 4 where we find out. Obviously, before that, Joel Embiid will not be playing, and at that time we didn't really know the extent of it, but he wasn't playing. And I thought in that moment, I kind of wavered. I was like, "Oh fuck, are we gonna lose this game? We're not gonna be able to complete the sweep like I had predicted." But thanks to Tobias Harris and Basketball Paul, the Sixers pull it out. You mentioned James Harden, Seamus, and this is the game that really actually, I think even more so than the Embiid injury, this game gave me my biggest concern moving forward for the
I think
Sixers.
9 of 34 from the 2-point range is good.
Yeah.
And sustainable.
I think that James Harden is a bigger red flag right now for the Sixers than Joel's injury.
It's playoff James Harden, man. That's what it. This is who he is. He doesn't show up in big moments.
I just
No.
he just
can't-
doesn't.
I can't I don't know how to make sense of it. Like,
But side note,
if-
real quick
go
about
ahead.
Game 4, the Sixers improved the season to 12-5 without Joel Embiid in the lineup this
It's true.
season. So they can win without
yeah,
Joel.
yeah. I mean, Maxey had a decent game. He didn't if you look at the box score, it didn't look like he
He
impacted
scored
much.
late,
but
though.
yeah, he scored when it
He
mattered.
scored when it mattered.
But-
He
Well, you
came
mentioned
through his
basketball
clutch.
Paul Reed.
Yeah, he
a career
played
high
great.
32
He's
minutes.
stepped up. Tobias stepped up huge. We've been a big component of criticize Tobias when he's bad and praise him when he's good, and he
Like the
deserves all
Reese.
the praise for that.
Like Hoskins.
Right.
Rest in peace.
But James Harden worries me drastically, and it pisses me off because if you're Harden, you have to know the narrative out there is that you're a playoff choker, you're a fraud.
That's my narrative.
All this shit, whether it's true or not, and you can make the argument for days about whether he is or isn't, but that is the narrative. And you come out in a game where the best player on your team isn't there, and you play like that.
Here's
Like,
the
come
thing,
on.
though. Like, he had good looks the entire series, but none of his shots fell.
He was
I
hitting
feel like.
threes in the first 3 games, and then that fourth game was just weird.
Yeah, so
He-
I mean, he's got to step it up.
He also though just was not getting calls from the refs.
No,
He didn't get a
and,
favorable
like-
whistle.
but that always happens
that-
to James Harden.
Well,
And,
yeah,
and,
because
like
of China.
Yeah, because of China and Daryl Morey's involved
but,
and
like-
sweatshops and everything else. But he's got to figure it out.
No,
Like,
but like seriously, like I just think that a lot of the blatantly missed calls, a lot of them were in Brooklyn, obviously, because they're gonna have some home cooking.
home cooking, baby.
And the refs were atrocious.
No, they were horrible.
The whole series.
But you have
not
to,
just those
as
two
a
games.
championship caliber team, you have to try to overcome that.
And they did.
Yeah, and they did.
I think the biggest concern with Harden is the finish. It's like, so people are saying, like, you'll hear a way that people will kind of deflect by being like, Harden just was having trouble finishing at the rim, but he was getting by guys, so that's good.
He can't finish anymore.
But yes, he's getting by these guys, but watch the tape. A lot of these guys let Harden get by them because they know they're going to catch him at the rim.
Yeah.
He is losing a lot of his step and athleticism, and
Oh, that first step's definitely gone.
yeah. So like even if he gets by a defender, like the defender's catching him at the rim if he goes for a layup. Like that's just what's been happening.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do about it. He's just got to play better.
I mean, I think he's relying a little bit too much on fouls, because if they're not going to get called, then you gotta
Adapt.
Yeah.
adapt, and he obviously hasn't. I still think he can.
Yeah, I
I'll
think
be
he can,
delusional
too.
for a second.
No, I mean,
but
it's still James Harden. I
yeah,
mean,
dude, Jimmy Butler's the same age, and I know this is gonna. I know Taylor's gonna roll his eyes at this, but Jimmy Butler's the same age and just put up 56 the other night. I don't think Harden's fully gone.
I know it's
I
not.
really don't.
I know it's not Harden's role anymore
If
to,
James-
Wait. Are
to
we
be that guy.
Are we
but
really comparing Jimmy Butler to James
Dude,
Harden right
if
now?
James
We kind of have to right
Do
now.
we?
dude.
I will
Do we?
declare on this podcast right now, if James Harden scores 30 or more points in a single game in the next series, I'll shave my head.
But here's the-
It will look as good as that Jimmy Butler's
I-
performance.
That's why I'm saying it's not even close to that performance. If he scores 30 or more, I'll
No, it'll
shave
be
my
as
head.
impressive.
In game one or any
yeah.
game?
Any single game in this Celtics series, I will shave my head if James Harden scores 30 plus points.
But Vince, this is
All
what
right.
this is what
All
I
right.
thought.
Okay.
I
Shake
thought,
on it.
Yes,
Ta-
but
take your hat off.
one condition. One
Take
condition.
your hat off. Let me see.
No,
Let me
hold
see
on.
what we got.
No,
One condition has to be in one quarter.
My hair, I have hat hair right now.
I think I got good
you-
hair.
Yeah, I think you can pull it off.
Hold on.
yeah.
Baldy.
The only condition is that it has to be when I get home
Oh,
from this
come
wedding in
on.
Florida, which is like 2 weeks from now.
All right, that-
No.
I'm not
No,
shaving
no,
my
no,
head
no,
for the
no.
wedding.
You already
No.
did it.
No,
Oh,
you
can
ready?
shave it after the series. That's fine, but as long as you shave it.
Okay. Yeah,
Vince-
yeah. I'm saying if
Yeah.
James Harden does not
We
score
can do it
30
live on the
points when
show.
I get home from this wedding, I will shave my head.
Vince rocking
40
the white
points,
supremacist
40
look
points,
is awesome.
and you shave the head and everything but the mustache.
Oh, I like that.
Deal.
Oh,
This is how I am so
I am
confident.
such a Harden guy.
I am so confident James Harden will get like a max of 25 points.
I'm
50 points, and you campaign for Trump.
Dude, you could say 50 points and I don't even know, like burn an orphanage. There's no way that would ever happen. There's no way.
Recreate January 6th.
James Harden scoring 50 points is something that I can't even imagine at this point.
well, I mean, I can imagine it.
He like his body just seems cooked, man.
no, but here's the thing. I thought that he
He
was
can shoot, but
I thought that he had an opportunity. If he was going to have a game like that, it would have been game 4. Like, I know Tobias Harris took over like the scoring role pretty much, but I thought that was going to be a James Harden
Yes.
drops 40
Because-
points without Joel Embiid.
yeah, there was no
there.
Embiid there.
And I really thought that was going to happen.
It just
in
makes
fact, I
me-
put a lot of money on that to happen.
It makes me believe
And
that
I
James
lost.
Harden does not have the killer instinct like in him at all.
But listen,
He does not have that dog in him.
listen. If Joel is not healthy for game 1 against the Hawks, hopefully that would be nice.
Oh yeah, speaking of which, how have we like kind of not talked about the fact that we're just here we are again. Another year of the playoffs.
Yes,
we're
we're at
talking
the
about
studio again.
No, but here we are,
Oh.
another year going into the second round of the
Jake's
NBA
here
playoffs.
again. Taylor's here again.
We're here again in the NBA.
We're here tonight.
The second round of the NBA playoffs, and we're talking about Joel Embiid having to play through an injury again.
Yeah, but dude, I called it.
We all called it.
I'm just saying, dude. It's kind of funny at this point.
It is kind of
Like,
funny.
Dude, it's fucking hilarious. The guy has the healthiest
But
season,
also-
healthiest season of his career, pretty much. And then as soon as like the playoffs start, that's when it goes to hell.
Yeah, so this news comes out yesterday that it was an LCL sprain, and he's gonna have to wear a knee brace.
Pretty much a sprained knee. That's what
at
that
the
means.
at the time. The Celtics were up 3-1, and the series was projected to start on Saturday. And at
And then
that
it got
point,
cold.
it was a 50-50 shot that Joel would play in Game 1. I still don't know what to make of all of that.
What do you mean?
I
like-
mean, I don't think it's that serious. I know you guys are going to make fun of me for this, but I really don't think
I
it's
don't
that
know if
serious of an
they're
injury.
overblowing it.
I said the same thing. I was like, they're overplaying this.
But
Yeah,
any-
and he's a fucking paramedic. So I would think-
but first of all, he's not a
Basically
cop.
That's true.
Second of all,
No
dude,
cop.
Joel
Don't ask the
Embiid,
Bills medical staff.
Joel Embiid like playing with any sort of discomfort period is a bad thing for the 76ers.
James,
just
did you
because,
watch any of the playoffs the
dude,
last 2
I
years?
just know how
Do you know how
went
many
off-
injections
I
he's
know
gonna
how
get in
he
the
is.
locker room?
He's a moping
Yeah.
Bro,
guy.
he had a torn meniscus 2 years ago and went off for 45.
And he's 2 years older.
the next game.
But I'm so tired.
Dude, you are delusional.
I'm so tired of
You
every.
I already
need-
told you I'm delusional.
him to be-
You can call me whatever you
You
want.
need him to be 100% healthy,
I'm
dude.
so okay. 100% healthy. You're never gonna be. But
Yeah.
like these.
But you know what I mean. It would
these-
be ideal if he didn't have a sprained
Yes,
right knee.
I agree. I'm tired of like having to look back and being like, oh, here's 2021 where Joel Embiid played through
Yeah, dude, that
a
is
torn meniscus in
psychotic
the playoffs.
behavior to look
And
back
here's-
at those videos.
Here's 2022 when he played through a broken face and finger, and here's 2023 when he played through a sprained knee again. Like, when the fuck will he just not have these nagging injuries?
Never.
Literally never, because people literally dive at his knees.
Right, but dude,
What do you want?
Hold on, I'm
Well,
gotta
he
get-
also falls to the floor whenever
Yeah,
he can.
so he can protect his
That
body
is
from
to protect
injuries.
himself.
and it doesn't work clearly.
Jesus Christ.
It
I mean-
clearly
Well,
doesn't
yeah,
work.
it doesn't work when people are literally chop blocking
Pat,
your knees.
But
It
dude,
might be.
lower,
It might be
what?
worse.
Stop.
It
Lower
might be
seeded-
worse if he didn't do that.
Lower seeded teams go after the star player of the other team all the time.
Yeah.
Michael.
And
again,
unfortunately, the star player of our team is a fucking massive 7'3" center.
Let's not waste any more time debating Joel
What
Embiid's
do you want me
injuries
to tell
because
you?
guess what? Paul Reed's just going to have to become a superstar overnight.
And let's be
That's
honest,
what he's
like,
going to have to
let's
do.
be honest. If Jason Tatum had something lingering, like I'm not gonna say play dirty, like go after it.
Yeah.
But I'm 100% like, hey, play him tough.
Yeah.
Get physical with
Yeah.
him. Like if he's hurting, he's gonna
But,
hurt
like,
worse after
dude,
this game. Like
playing
don't
physical is part of the.
Every star has to go through that.
play, and they're gonna go extra tough, especially now they know that knee is vulnerable. All right.
I'd be going for fucking
So, like,
Jaylen Brown's face.
But like
all day.
when does it end? Because as the rounds go on and you play better teams, they're just gonna keep getting like that. So this by the what
No, no, no,
by
no,
what
no,
we're
no,
saying
listen.
right now, they'll never win.
No, listen.
you.
The better teams don't necessarily have to do that. The lesser teams, the Nets, have to try to injure Joel in order if they want to win a series.
Also, it's
The Boston Celtics do not have to try to injure Joel if they want to win a series.
But they will.
They were 3-1 on the season
I
series
really
against
don't
us.
think anyone has to try to injure Joel. I think he will just end up injured.
I mean, he's injured himself.
His
before.
body cannot. His body is not meant to hold up through
Nobody
as
over
many-
7 foot tall is.
Yeah.
No, but I just
So
think,
then, what are we doing here?
so what are we doing here? We need the med beds.
Yeah, he's
that,
like
that the far right
he's
say
winning.
is available.
He's gonna win MVP. But
Get
like
Joel Embiid in the goddamn med bed right now.
when like I don't know.
Get him a My Pillow.
Get him a My Pillow. Mike Lindell has no more money anymore, but we need to do something for Embiid.
Some My Slippers too.
Yeah, my
Oh, yeah.
you know, my knee would be ideal right
Oh.
now.
Get him the power of red copper.
to fully like
Where's
look
Brett Favre?
to fully like look ahead. Pat, you just mentioned the Celtics. We got to talk about them real quick so we can talk about the
It's
Sixers next series.
pronounced the Celtics.
The Celtics just dropped Game 5 against the Hawks. So
It got really cold up in Boston.
yeah, I mean, what was
Very
it? I think it was like a
cold.
13-point lead with
Trey Ice.
4 or 5 minutes left in the game, something like that. Trey Young hits. First of all, what a
15-point with 6.5 left, I think it
dude,
was.
what a crazy shot! Nothing but net. I don't know what the fuck Jaylen Brown was doing on defense. As soon as he backstepped, I knew Trey was taking that shot.
The funny part is that they had Marcus Smart on the possession before. And Marcus Smart, he did foul him,
What
but he
a
did do the right thing and
dickhead.
played him right at the line. He shouldn't have fouled him, but he did the right thing and was right there. You got to cover him as soon as he crosses half court.
You got to find a way to not foul in that position if you're Marcus Smart.
Oh,
dude.
100%.
But-
But he at least had the right mindset of don't let him just run up the logo and take a shot.
Well, we're all rooting for a Game 7 in that series.
Oh,
Would-
100%.
Would the Sixers beat this Hawks team in the first round?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends on the
100%.
health of.
Confidently.
Yes.
Are we assuming that Joel is fine? Like he's healthy, or are we assuming the same?
we
thing
No, we're
switch-
saying
If-
saying if the Nets
yes.
and the Hawks switched.
Yes.
Like we played the Hawks.
So
100%.
does Joel
week.
still get hurt in the third
I
game
mean, it's
and not play in
playoff.
the fourth?
It's playoff Joel, so yes.
I think we'd
Statistically
still beat
speaking,
them.
likely.
I
Yes.
think we'd still beat them.
I
Oh,
think
yeah.
so.
But I will say, however, the Nets were probably the worst team in the playoffs, right?
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think if that current roster,
Well,
if
them
that
and the Bucks.
if the playoff roster of the Nets had played the whole year, they would have finished well under 500.
Yeah.
Imagine Michael Bridges and Jimmy Butler as a Sixer.
dude.
I mean,
Jake, shut the
Well,
fuck up.
Lol. That'd be
Jake-
if that'd be
Jake-
if the Sixers were a well-run organization.
Did you guys know that Bridges is from Philadelphia? Just in case anybody didn't
His
know.
mom
Do you know
worked
his
for the
cousin?
organization, I think.
so
His
now
cousin's
the
host on
the
Fanatic.
second round for the Sixers won't start
Devon
until
Givens.
the second round for the Sixers won't start until at least Monday. That series goes back
It's
to
going to be
Atlanta
Monday,
for,
I'm pretty sure.
that's
Anyway.
well, that series goes back to Atlanta for Game 6, so we still have to see if Atlanta can pull out another one. At
If
this
the Hawks pull it out, then it gets pushed back. That's the only thing.
Oh, really? It would
I'm-
get pushed back to what, Wednesday?
I don't even know at that point.
No,
Probably
I'm pretty sure
Tuesday.
the latest is Monday, right? Or do they play on Monday?
No, they
like,
play
will
Thursday.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. They play Thursday. Gotcha.
I mean, I'm not predicting. Like, I still think the Celtics win this series, but I think that maybe the Hawks can pull one more out and lose in 7.
my prediction is that the Celtics blow it. That's my
That would be such a
pretty
fucking
bold.
insane.
that's my
I
prediction.
would
thing
love it
happen.
so much.
And they're going to be fraudulent. They
I
remind
want
me.
the Hawks.
They remind me of the
So
Suns from
bad.
last year. They're fraudulent.
So a Hawks Heat Eastern Conference Finals.
That's not even funny, dude. But probably.
I just listen. I'd want the Hawks
no,
too.
Hawks Knicks.
Not just because the Hawks are the worst
dude,
team.
I hate.
Jameis
I
Jameis
hate
would be-
that I'm all in on the Knicks. All right?
What?
I fucking hate it.
He's in love with Julius Randle.
I'm a fraud Philadelphia
He's not even
fan.
their best player.
I
I
know.
love him. I love Jalen Brunson too. All right.
Okay.
I was about to say I hate that Seamus is rooting for the Knicks because of.
I'm not rooting for the Knicks.
no, no.
I
Yeah, you
simply
are.
enjoy them.
I
Yeah,
hate.
you are.
I hate
and I
that
want
you're-
them to win.
But I hate that you're rooting for them for the wrong reasons. Like if I was gonna root for the Knicks, it'd be because they're like the Villanova NBA team.
well, I mean that's part of
Josh
it too.
Hart,
That's
Jalen-
part of it
So
too.
wait, were you rooting for the Nets?
no.
With Cal Bridges,
yeah, he's the
Villanova.
only one.
Yeah, he's a Villanova guy. Oh, you must. No, but seriously, I just started watching the Knicks last season. All right, and I was like, this Julius Randle, and then
This
He
is
did.
so
He did
weird.
miracles
And
on
then they-
Jameis.
and then they go out and they get Brunson, and I'm like,
Wait,
I'm
he
all
sucked
in.
last year.
I'm all in.
Terrible
sucked last year.
Oh, he was always at the foul line against the
fucking
Sixers.
2 seasons ago, that's when he
Yeah, when he got
had
the
a
MIP.
resurgence.
Oh,
Yeah.
whatever, dude. I like that team. I think it's good for the game. The Knicks are a
It's
historic
good for the game.
If the Knicks are a historic franchise, paint the town blue.
The Knicks haven't been good in
And
2
yellow.
decades, and the NBA hasn't been in a better shape.
Well,
That's
whatever.
the worst narrative.
and that's
in
your
sports.
opinion, and you're entitled to it.
It is good for basketball, though. I like the Knicks being
No, LeBron James going to Miami. That's what's good for basketball.
Oh, please, with your LeBron James
Next year?
bullshit.
good. You going
No,
back?
I meant in general.
just
like
like
if
when
we're
he
gonna
did.
say that was good for basketball, no, that was.
What
the
about
key.
LeBron going back to Cleveland? That was good for basketball too.
Well,
Anything involving LeBron James is good for basketball.
speaking of LeBron,
Unless he went to the T-Wolves.
Well, no,
except for the Lakers.
I do want to before
Goes
we
to
get to
Utah.
I want to talk about the West a little bit, but we gotta. So we're
Hope he
assuming
goes to the Rockets.
we got to look forward to. Listen, we might be proven wrong here, but let's just assume it's the Celtics that we end up playing. How do we feel about that series?
with a
It's a loss.
with a bitching and moping Joel Embiid. I still think we win in 6 games.
That's insane.
No,
Jesus
it goes a full
Christ.
7, 100%.
It's
but
definitely going.
I
7.
think this Boston team is a lot more beatable than people think. Just because
Well,
look, this dog shit Hawks team.
I
is
got a
taking them
narrative to
6.
push, and my narrative that I need to push is that I'm prepared to start making allegations that Jason Tatum is a bit fraudulent.
he is fraudulent. He's not showing up. And the
And
biggest
one of
on the
11
biggest
from
In the
three
last
last night.
3 games, Jason
Oh
Tatum
no, he was bad last.
in the last 3
Horrific.
games, Jason Tatum is shooting 9 for 22, 8 for 20, and 8 for 22, including 1 of 11 from 3 last night.
Shout out to Dan McGuckin who said that's concert dates because that's
Yeah.
what it is.
I also just find it so funny how don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to. Yes, they were friends. I'm sure they were close. But how cringe Jason Tatum could be with the Kobe thing. For example, the night before the game, he posted
A helicopter.
Jerking off.
him laying in bed watching Kobe highlights.
Were there
in just a
helicopters
towel.
involved?
Mm.
No,
It was
I mean, that
spicy.
is kind of weird. That's very weird.
I don't really know what the fuck is
You know
going
who?
on there.
By the
but
way, speaking of Kobe Bryant, do you know who Kendrick Perkins compared to Kobe Bryant this morning?
who?
He plays for the Suns.
Devin Booker.
Devin Booker.
Devin
Well,
Booker,
that comparison happens
I
a
don't.
lot.
Yeah, but dude, the way he said it was weird.
I'm glad you brought up Devin Booker though, because there is a large faction of NBA Twitter that
he literally said this guy is Kobe
Uh,
Bryant.
there's
I was
a-
like,
there-
I don't think he
there's
is.
a large faction of NBA Twitter that probably still says Tatum over Booker, and they're crazy.
They are crazy.
Devin
It's
Booker
all
is
day.
way better.
He's
Especially
way
if we're talking
hotter.
playoff pedigree. Yeah.
Wait, real
My
quick,
favorite-
side topic. Do we think, as men, do we, as straight men, we got to be honest.
Oh my god.
Do we think Devin Booker is attractive?
Yeah.
Because I definitely do.
Yes.
Others,
He's got a very punchable
others
face
say
for
he
me, I'm
looks
gonna be
like
honest.
Good looking guy.
no. Others say he's got those weird batty eyes that just make him look like a.
He looks
freak.
like he belongs on Beavis and Butthead. to me.
Okay, yeah.
Speaking
and that's
of
what I
like,
was getting at.
This topic actually opens up my favorite tweet of last night, which was Jason
quote
Tatum
tweets.
would have a lot more haters if he was ugly. That was
The
a very
quote tweets
funny-
were fantastic.
Yeah, people were very.
Why?
I don't know.
Why people
shocked.
think he's ugly?
Homophobic.
Yeah.
People think he's ugly.
No, he's,
No,
people
no.
think he's good looking, and if he was ugly, he'd have more haters because
Oh.
he's not.
If he
He's
looked like
over-
Julius Randle, it would be different. I got it.
Jesus.
Yeah, I guess so. You're right.
Well, we all know Jalen Brunson gets the most
Can we?
women on that
I
team.
feel like we're kind of dancing around the topic of talking about the Celtics Sixers series because
I mean, dude,
none of us want to admit that we're scared.
well, I mean, obviously
I
we're
am.
scared. I mean, and obviously the Sixers aren't going to be favored in that series by anybody. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of like you got to fucking do your shit. Like, I don't know. Like,
That was
I don't-
great
Bold
analysis.
take.
I
Do
don't
your
even know.
shit.
Like, I don't even know how to
Play
I don't-
basketball.
Dude, I'm so sick of the
Shut
Sixers.
up and dribble.
I'm so sick of the Sixers' second round like expectations and foreshadowing because,
Whoa,
dude,
whoa,
this
what
is a
expectations?
bad. No, I'm just saying, like let's break down the potential series. Now, I'd rather break down a potential Hawks series because I'm very confident we can beat Trae Young and the Hawks. Like, very confident, even without Joel Embiid. So I don't
But
know.
you have to look at which one's more probable.
I don't want to,
No.
and maybe I am scared.
Then you need to get a dog.
Yeah, like the Phillies.
Listen, anyone that's rational
Shout out Major.
is terrified. The Celtics are beatable, yes, but like in our lifetimes, when have we ever beaten them? Never. We don't beat them.
Nope.
We
Like,
did
we
once
just-
this year.
Tyrese
I
Maxey's
don't mean like in
certainly-
one game. I just mean when it matters.
Are they going to remove
lose to them.
Maxey from the roster for this series?
I don't
Because I
know.
think they should.
We did. I think we should.
No,
give a
you don't want to. You don't want him to get to play bad in the second round. So just
We should give a touching tribute to
Hide
George
him.
Niang, who we probably saw for the last
Yeah,
time this
he's
season.
there's no way.
You already know that's not true.
I mean, there's a chance.
You already know the second that came out of your mouth that wasn't true.
If George Niang touches
Come
the
on.
floor against the Celtics,
Oh,
there's a
believe me,
chance.
he's gonna
Pop
be
the
getting
cork,
fucking
baby.
8 minutes a
Here
game.
comes Cork
and he's going to be
Maz.
terrible.
We didn't think Trez would touch the floor against Brooklyn.
Well,
Pop
that
Joel
was
Embiid got hurt.
extenuating circumstances.
Yeah.
Pop
that's
the
true.
cork.
if Niang plays against Celtics, that's going to be terrible.
Well, I think
It's
he
gonna
might.
happen.
He
It's
might.
gonna
It's
happen
going to be
about.
very bad.
It's gonna happen about 8 minutes into the game in the first quarter. I'll tell you that right now.
Well,
Please shave
I mean,
your head
dude,
if it doesn't.
Dude, if
Yeah.
if it happens 8 minutes into the game in the fourth quarter, Doc should just like
First.
first quarter.
Yeah,
oh, Doc
that's when
should
he
just
usually does the
walk out.
rotations.
As soon as he does that, he's walking out because I mean that's a fireable offense. It's a fireable
Well, he's
offense.
gonna do it.
All right,
I'll tell you that right
why?
now.
What do you think's gonna happen, Vince?
I think that if they were smart, they wouldn't play Niang.
No, I'm just saying in general with the series.
I think we're going to lose.
All
but
right.
I'm like that's what that's what my rational brain tells
You
me.
think
but,
they're
like,
going to lose?
my Sixers brain is like they can fucking win it in 7, but like if I'm being objective and serious, I don't see them winning the series.
Even
now.
with their like kind of like shitting the bed against Atlanta.
Yeah, but you know what I see that's going to happen? I close my eyes and I see the thing you just described.
If they play like that in the fourth quarter against the
I-
Sixers, I don't think that there's any shot that they can win.
I close my eyes and what I see is a Joel Embiid in a knee brace, wincing in pain every time he misses a shot or falls, which is all the time, and moping around with bad body language. And I see James Harden missing a million layups and just having a fraud DNA.
I think you're going to get a different Harden against the Celtics.
But what leads you to believe that?
Because I think that James Harden, more than anything, is an egomaniacal person. He wants to be the star, and
He
I
wants
think
you bald.
What stopped him from
Yeah.
What stopped him from doing that in the Nets game?
Dude,
You
he
never
didn't, he
bet
didn't get
on
up
you being
against.
Yeah, you
bald.
didn't bet your hair on
He
it.
did not get up against the Nets like he would against Boston. That's my opinion.
Real quick, why was I dismissed for mentioning Joel's all-time bad vibes
Caught
during that
dismissed.
entire series?
Bring-
Oh,
the dancing
I just.
lobsters.
Are you talking about in the group chat?
Yes.
I forgot to reply. I think I
I
was
don't
just in
remember
a,
what you said.
Yeah, context.
I said
context.
I s-
Niall needs context.
Joel has like all-time bad vibes this entire series, just moping around. Like
Yeah.
I don't
No, you were
remember.
correct.
I don't remember when it's been like this
Listen,
mopey.
I know that the Celtics are smarter about how they throw doubles and Embiid.
Oh my, it's gonna
but
be bad.
If you're
Yeah.
smart, just do what the Nets just did. They clearly frustrated Embiid
Yep.
heavily, and he mopes. Listen,
That's all it takes is a
you-
double team,
you
and
don't-
he's just pouty the whole time.
Joel Embiid is my favorite basketball player ever, and I have on this podcast said that when he is presented with MVP, I will probably shed tears of joy. But that goes without saying. He is very easily agitated, very easily annoyed, and he will mope as soon as things go wrong for him.
Bit of a diva.
He will. If he, close your eyes and tell me you don't see him in this knee brace against Boston, falling over a million times, wincing in pain, limping up and down the court, head down,
Getting blocked by
doing
Time
what he
Lord.
always
No,
does.
I have that same vision, but also James Harden scoring 50 points every fucking
No,
night.
you know what it's gonna be. You know the meme of the old guy where he's like, "Oh, help! Call an ambulance."
But
Not for me. That's gonna be Joel Embiid.
Oh, boy.
He's gonna be fourth quarter. Oh, call an ambulance, but not for me.
Listen, by the way,
And then he's
I,
gonna snap Tatum's leg in half.
Yep.
this is
Gonna
one of those
kill him.
moments where I want
Call
to
a
be
cop.
I want to be wrong more than anything. I do not want to
Damar
be
Hamlin.
right about this. I want them to win. I want all of that, but if I'm being honest, I just don't see it. I think that most likely this
You're not
ends-
allowed on this side anymore.
All right, let me
Traitor.
ask you a question.
Traitor.
Would you rather have them get swept and Doc is fired the next day,
Yes.
or lose in 7?
Yes. Yes to the first one. Yes.
And Doc returns next
Losing,
season.
Yeah, and Doc
guaranteed-
returns.
losing seven because I'm
No.
all
I
here.
would
Losing
much
7,
rather
Doc
get swept than
returns.
Doc
Get
gone.
Seamus
swept
likes
and
the
Doc's
pain.
gone.
No,
the
I'm
next
here for the
season.
ride.
Because then what I'm saying, like, okay, there's a lot you can do.
Guys,
If Joel stays, if you don't want to trade
If.
Joel, well, because honestly, he's not going to ask out. I guarantee you, he will not ask out, no matter what happens.
You're very
this offseason.
confident in that.
if we get swept, Harden's
Oh,
gone.
Joel's
Yes,
going nowhere.
and I'm fine with that. Honestly, I'm honestly fine with
But
that at this point.
See, the only
like,
thing that's
that gives us so much room to bring in other people.
The
Like, it
only-
really does.
the only
And
thing
then
that's-
you can get off Toby's contract. You trade him in the offseason. Like, if we get swept by the Celtics and Doc gets fired, I'm cheering. I'm having my own parade
But-
on Broad
No,
Street.
guys,
but-
guys,
yeah,
hold
but
on.
I'm a big
I need
fan.
answers from
Yeah,
everybody.
I
No,
need
but
the
hold-
answer.
But hold on. Here's the thing. I'm a big fan of the ride. Like, I'm a big fan of going out to the bar, drinking my Bud
Losing
Light.
in the World Series.
Proudly, by the way, drinking Bud Light, bitch. Going out to the
What a
bar,
liberal.
watching Gargano in the morning lose his shit, say, "Dude, play the song." I want to hear all of that fucking shit. I want to
the
get
song won't be getting played in this scenario.
play the song. I want to hear it. I want to get
Jesus Christ.
excited. I want it, dude. Like, I want the ride back. Okay, give me the ride.
The only reason that I am leaning
was
towards
weird.
7 is
Very
because
strange.
I just don't know how I'm going to be able to wake up in the morning knowing we got swept by a Boston team.
Well,
By
you're
the
gonna
headline
again,
of your
again.
phone being Doc Rivers has been fired by the Philadelphia
that would,
76ers.
I get it, but
that would make it.
That would wake
I would
me
be
up.
fine.
You guys know how Twitter pilled I am, and all I'm going to see
What?
on Twitter is
Twitter
like
pill.
I don't know
memes
what that
about
means.
Embiid and the
That's
Embiid
a
crying
fucking weird-
face and all this shit about Philly getting swept
You're
by
going to
Boston.
get that either way.
Yeah, but
Yes.
getting swept is so much worse.
I've already seen the Embiid crying thing. Like, I was like, dude, why?
Thousands.
like why? though, right
I
now?
guess I'm gonna begrudgingly agree with you guys and go with the whole sweep because I do hate Doc Rivers, but
Mhm.
I'm gonna be on suicide watch reading all these memes about how the Sixers got swept by
Dog,
Boston.
log
Well,
off.
the good news about Suicide
you
Watch
talking
is that
about?
you're being watched. So that's good.
So, Jake, since you brought up that question, who would you want instead of Doc Rivers? That's the
Oh,
big question.
boy.
Oh, I got
That's
one.
the big
Dawn
question.
Staley.
got
I
one.
want the new.
Dawn Staley?
I want. No,
That'd
no.
be fucking sick. Honestly.
I want the new Rockets
Wright,
coach.
Dawn
That's who I
Staley.
wanted here.
I mean,
but-
Jay
Udoka.
Wright.
Oh, why am I
yeah.
blanking? Who's the assistant? Why am I
Udoka just
blanking?
got
Who's the
hired.
Sam
assistant
Cassell.
coach?
That's what he said.
Yeah,
but that's
Dan
what
Burke,
I-
Sam Cassell.
Yeah,
Either
Sam
one of them,
Cassell,
honestly.
that when Doc was out, the team just rallied behind Sam
Well, no,
Cassell.
Dan Burke was the
Oh,
head
Dan
coach.
Burke?
Yeah, he was the one when Doc was out when he had like COVID or something last year.
Yeah,
I actually
Dan,
had
and
Dan
he
Burke.
actually did a phenomenal
Yeah, he
job.
did a great job.
I actually have a
because
name.
he knows the second unit.
Yeah,
All right, hear me out, Joe Girardi.
I think a real one that like
Why not?
at least
I'm
is-
in the corner.
a real one that's at least interesting is Nick Nurse.
That's why I was going to nominate.
Oh yeah, I mean
He's
that
a
would
real
be
he's
good-
a
sick.
phenomenal coach.
He's a good coach.
He's
That would
somebody
be
that
sick.
can actually say, "Would you ask Pop that question?"
yeah. I don't.
Nick Nurse is a great
Alright.
coach.
He's a great coach,
And
but I don't know if he could say that.
would
Yeah,
never.
he's
no,
a
I'm saying
total
he
he's a
could
total
say that.
dork.
I'm saying he could say that because he has the pair. He never would. That's even better.
That's true.
These guys
That-
many
that-
He doesn't have
championships
his
as
head
Doc.
so far up his ass.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
whatever.
Well,
Doc Rivers is Joe Girardi, by the way.
Doc
Yes.
Rivers,
For
No,
sure.
I know.
He's
You know how many
Sure.
times we've made that fucking comparison? We sat there the one time and just broke it down for like 20 minutes. We're like, they're the same person.
One-
And this was like right before Girardi got fired last year.
one ring team with Hall of Famers.
Yeah, he
hates
held
young
great
players.
teams back.
Yeah.
All right,
Made an
Loves-
entire career out of
Loves veterans.
it.
All
Yeah.
right, let-
If
let's-
Didi Gregorius was 6 inches taller, oh my
Oh, yeah,
gosh,
dude, can you imagine?
He would be on
he
the
would be
Sixers.
playing 40 minutes a game.
All right, let's wrap up the Sixers
Call him
talk
PJ Tucker.
because we already got our Sixers Celtics / Hawks, I guess, predictions. You
Nope.
said you wanted to talk about the West,
Well, yeah, because the Western Conference has
Wild
been like
West.
just as
the
interesting.
Wow West.
Honestly, the playoffs as a whole have just been very interesting.
Bro,
Obviously,
this first round has been fucking
You have
electric.
the-
Makes no sense.
you have the Heat.
awesome.
You have the. We didn't even talk about the Heat. I mean, Jimmy Butler being the best player in the first round so far. I think like pretty easily him and Booker.
Nah,
I would
Yeah.
I would put
Jalen Brunson.
I would put the first 3 Kawhi games because that was like
Yeah, Kawhi.
that
averaged
was like
38 in those
peak
2 games.
Rest in
Kawhi
peace, by the
showed
way.
out.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Wait, Kawhi played 3 games.
No, only 2.
Or two.
He
Those,
averaged-
those first 2 games.
Yeah,
were
he averaged
insane.
38, and he
I-
was just like unconscious
Yeah,
the
well,
entire time.
yeah, he's done. Like,
Yeah.
it's over.
He should
for-
retire.
It's
Yeah, he
over.
should retire.
That Clippers team, man, they got to be furious. They signed him to an extension.
And
Load
NPG.
management. Load management.
But so you have
For what next year?
You have that. You have the Bucks Heat, which has been crazy, up 3-1. That game happens tonight.
Dude, I'm actually surprised. Like, just watching like that series in particular. Are you kind of surprised at how like the Bucks are kind of like soft? Like,
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
No,
Drew,
I mean,
Drew
after-
Holiday.
Dude,
Drew Holiday's been
I was
terrible.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, I was expecting a lot more from that Bucks team. Obviously, everybody was, but it's just funny how like
I mean,
they're
people were saying
literally-
they were head and shoulders
but they're
above
on the
everyone.
precipice of elimination by a team that was a play-in team. I'm pretty sure. Weren't
That
they a
barely
play-in
made
team?
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
they were the
barely.
last playing
They were the last
Yes.
play-in team, and now Giannis and those frauds in Milwaukee are literally going to get eliminated, which I hope they do. Because guess
That'd be
what?
sick.
Guess what? I don't care about like what people are afraid about the Sixer series and all seriousness coming up. Like, dude, I can almost like taste. Dude, the East is potentially wide open.
Can
dude,
we-
after this
can
series.
I-
seriously? This,
I
I'm
wanna-
No,
going
I
back
agree.
and forth too, dude. All I can think about right now is a Denver Sixers finals. And how much I want that.
You
I
think the
want
Nuggets
that.
are making it past the
I
Suns?
want, yeah, I think so. I think they
I
will.
do.
Well,
Oh, I would.
Well,
I would
before-
take the Nuggets
I think
for
it's
sure.
I don't know.
I
Yes.
think it's going to be Denver
Hold on.
Sixers.
Before we talk about the West, there like something interesting from the East that I really don't understand, but people seem to be buying in on it. The Bucks versus the Heat series. The Bucks to come back and win the series still is plus 115.
Oh yeah, the odds are nuts.
People seem to be very convinced the Bucks are going to come back and win this series, and
I'm not.
I couldn't be any more like against. I think
What are
they're-
the Heat? Probably
Heat are minus
200.
140.
140. Ooh.
Like they're, I think
That's nuts.
the Bucks are done. Like they might win the night, but you don't coming back from 3-1 is extremely hard. And Jimmy Butler is gonna have at least one more like
Jimmy's gonna
crazy
be
game.
Jimmy's gonna be bad tonight.
I don't know if he's
I
going to do
guarantee.
Yeah,
I don't know.
probably,
If,
Jimmy is
yeah.
not gonna be good tonight.
I was going to say I don't think he's got a 56-point
No
game in
well,
him.
No one,
but-
rarely anybody does. But I just think it's crazy that a team down 3-1 still has plus 115 odds to come back and win.
Yeah.
No, that's
But
wild.
anyway, to the West. Before we talk about the Nuggets and the Suns and all that, I want to talk about my king, LeBron James, and also just Dylan. So,
Simp.
dude,
This is the
By the
one
way,
time
Nick
in my life I
Castellanos
rooted
has
for
hit a
LeBron.
two-run
how
home
can
run.
every-
He's
Oh.
back, bitches.
Everyone in the-
Casty's back.
everyone in the world has to be rooting for the Lakers in this, even if you hate LA.
No, yeah.
Fuck.
I hate the Lakers. I hate LeBron. I hate AD.
No,
and I'm rooting for the fuck out of them.
You know, we were talking about good-looking NBA players.
Oh my
AD's
God.
got to be the most disgusting-looking human being I've ever seen.
Derek White.
Sure. But anyway, is there any more case of like you just should have shut up than Dylan Brooks because like
No.
He's not good enough.
right
Yes.
like Draymond talks a lot of shit. He's very annoying. He's casually dirty, but like at least he's good.
Are you just like? Are you like? And I'm genuinely asking you this. I'm not trying to like shit on you, Vince. But like, are you like more offended by the Dylan Brooks shit because it's against your
No.
king?
Nobody likes Dylan Brooks.
I'm not-
I
Nobody
happen
does.
to like.
I'm not
him.
offended. I
No,
think
you
Why?
don't.
I happen to like.
Why?
because
Because
you're a
'Cause you're a
contrarian.
No, he's the only one with balls to go after LeBron.
No, he's
and I
not.
like that.
Literally
That's just
everybody
false,
does.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny? It's always
Everybody
the bad-
punches LeBron in the dick.
Well, I don't
If they
really
could,
think-
they would.
Draymond.
Yeah.
Probably
Well,
would.
Draymond's Draymond.
I mean, Lance Stevenson used to fuck
Draymond
LeBron.
punches everybody.
That's
in
true.
the dick.
Lance Stevenson, one of the most mid players in the entire world,
Well,
used
I
to
like
just
him
walk
now.
up
Yeah,
to
Dylan Brooks is just worse than Lance Stevenson at this point.
Yeah.
Dylan Brooks, before the last game in that series, among players that had taken at least like 40-something shot attempts, was like either tied for last or last in every single stat category. He is very bad, and like what's really pissing me off though about
Very
him,
bad.
it's just like the way that
Very
he's
sad.
like he's now after every game like denying media. He's not talking to the media.
Yeah,
And-
if
and-
you're going to
and-
be that way, like if you're
Yeah,
going
at
to try to
least
be
own
that
it.
guy,
Alright.
you have to like go
Because
up.
That
and
I agree with.
Because then he has these
That I
quotes
agree
where
with.
he's like, the
He's a
media,
fraud.
the media and the fans are making me out to be a villain.
No,
so that
he
just adds another
created that
persona.
himself. I
Yes.
agree.
Dylan, you did this to
Yeah,
yourself, bro.
yeah, he created that. Dude, if you're
You
gonna,
said I poke bears. Well, you've poked the bear, and like you woke up the whole Lakers team,
and
not
that's
just LeBron.
and that's what makes it kind of like a little bit fraudulent on his part is that like at least own it.
He's
If you're
extremely
If you're
fraudulent.
going to create a persona, don't say, "Oh, the media is painting me this way." No, you clearly created that.
I think the best quote was, "I only respect people when they put 40 on me."
Yeah,
That was awesome.
if Dylan Brooks ever scored 40, the world would be ending. What's he averaging? Like 4 points a game.
I think he
sucks.
has 7 points.
Do you
Or,
want-
I don't know what he has after the last game, but
I
he
said
had
the same
7
thing
points
about Shake.
through the first 3 games.
Sounds like another good shave head proposition.
All right, Seamus. So Seamus, since you're such a huge Dylan Brooks supporter,
yeah.
I'll shave my head. I got
Dude,
no
if
problem.
Dylan Brooks scoring
So-
40 is the most
I got no
unlikely
problem
thing to
shaving
happen.
my
ever.
25.
if Dylan,
Can we do it?
if
Can we do
Dylan
it
Brooks-
on air in studio?
Yes,
I don't want
The
to clean
head
that up.
shave.
I mean,
that's what we
well,
gotta.
You're not
I'll just
gonna
bring
be
a.
here
I'll bring a
anymore.
shop back. It's fine.
Yeah, I'll bring
Well,
a shopping.
Anyway,
bag.
I just,
I'll
wanted
call
to,
Cop.
I just wanted to say
We'll go to
that's-
shopping bag and
That
you know.
series has been interesting. Not just kind of from an off the court standpoint. I mean, LeBron. I love when LeBron actually like engages in the beef because usually he's like stoic and he really doesn't pay much attention to it.
And
But
then he just goes to
you
social
can
media.
see you can see at some moments in the game like he kind of talks his shit to Dylan Brooks, like when he hit that shot to force overtime
He knows
yesterday.
what's
Like
going on.
yeah, so that'll be. Do I think the Lakers are like gonna be contending? I don't know.
No.
It is worth considering though. Since if you include
Calm down, Vince.
hold on, if you include playoffs since the trade deadline, they have the best record in the NBA.
Vince, calm down.
Calm down about
You're
what?
doing the LeBron thing. Calm down.
No, I'm just saying.
I will say.
No, the post trade deadline Lakers.
Yeah.
Are
No,
night
yeah,
and
they're
day
a
difference.
have
million
the-
times better,
they have
but
the
I don't
best-
think they're championship
I'm not
contenders.
saying they are. I'm saying I don't think they're going to be.
I will say
real
this though,
contenders,
Vince.
but it's worth talking about the fact that they do have the best record in the NBA. Since the
I
trade
am
deadline.
one paycheck away from buying a Hachimura jersey. So
He's very good.
I like him.
He
I
turned
like
it
him.
around. big
Also,
time.
I like the white guy. too.
Austin
What the
Reeves.
hell's-
Austin
I
Reeves.
like Austin.
He's
Reeves.
very good.
Yeah.
All right, next series in the West.
Very handsome.
The Clippers and Suns. That was just a farce. There's nothing really to talk about except for the fact that I don't really buy.
Except
into-
for Devin Booker.
I don't
is
really.
Kobe Bryant.
I don't really buy into the Suns that much because they were struggling to like dominate the Clippers without Kawhi and PG. Like they could not put them away in some games. And you're relying on Kevin Durant, who has an extensive injury history, including injuries
He
this
does?
year, to play 43 minutes a game. His Achilles will blow up in the next series if he continues that. I swear, it's gonna happen. Like he's very
That
injury.
sounds like a threat.
He's very injury. He's very injury prone. 43 minutes a game is a lot to ask from a healthy player. And they couldn't like put the final nail in the coffin in the Clippers for some of these games. Yes, they were winning, but they were struggling.
Never doubt
You-
KD, bro.
You
You're
heard
talk-
it here first. Vince is going to grassy knoll.
Yeah.
KD's Achilles.
Dude, I'm going to call the IRS on you. Calling America's Most Wanted.
The Suns also have no bench. That's worth noting. That's why. And then you could. There's nothing to mention about the Denver Minnesota series. Minnesota was just outmatched. And Edwards though was great.
Oh,
He's
fun
fucking
fact real
phenomenal.
quick. Teoscar Hernandez is batting
Oh my
244.
Okay, no one gives a fuck about that.
The one thing with Ant that's been
Teoscar.
pissing me off is like
Name's
He needs to
Teoscar.
be traded.
that, but also like he just in the play-in, he just straight up didn't show up. Like the first play-in game, he literally I think was what was it? He ended up like 3 of like 16 the entire game, and was horrific. And obviously he turned it on the rest of it, but I think he just needs to be that guy that turns it on all the time. But also I think he needs to get the fuck out of Minnesota. Like
Such a bleak like situation for that team.
yeah,
But
I mean, and Rudy Gobert is your centerpiece
I
at this
think
point.
I think the Nuggets beat the Suns in 6 personally because they're deeper. And I think DeAndre.
I agree with
I think
that.
DeAndre Ayton is very overrated, maybe one of the most overrated players in the NBA. I don't know how many people are that high on him right now, but
he's also playing against one of the worst defensive centers in the NBA. So
DeAndre Ayton's just meh. Obviously, Book and KD. If KD can stay healthy, that's one thing. But like I said, 43 minutes a game is a lot of wear and tear on a guy who's injury prone. Book is gonna get his. He's a fucking certified.
CP3
bucket.
has actually played
CP
really well in
yeah.
this series too.
Sixers Nuggets.
It's hard to look at that series and really like see where the Suns are at because I think the Kawhi list and PG list Clippers are probably the second worst team in the whole playoffs, maybe behind the Nets.
It's up there. The Suns.
You're so weird sometimes, I swear. Okay, but anyway, moving on to the most interesting series in the playoffs has been the Kings and Warriors. That series has been
Raise the
tied
beam.
2-2.
It's been electric.
Light the beam.
Well, whatever, dude.
Raise the beam.
they stole the whole
Light
thing.
the cat.
I really hate
They
that.
stole that whole thing from the 9/11 memorial anyway.
I really hate
That's
that
true.
DeAndre Fox. I really hate that De'Aaron Fox got broken finger because he's playing. Like we'll see how that affects him. But I was really hoping to get through this series, but nothing like that. Obviously, you already had the Draymond drama, but I wish everyone could have stayed healthy. I don't want this to negatively impact the series. Not obviously, but I'm rooting for the Kings to win this just because I want to see some new blood, and I crowned them my Western team a little while ago. 'cause
Also,
they
I
were
think
fun.
most people are kind of done with the Warriors.
I
Yeah.
do think if the Warriors make it past, and this is going to sound so weird because they can't win on the road, but obviously to win this series they'd have to win on the road. I think if the Warriors do make it out of the series, they're my pick to make the finals in the West.
I don't know. I hope that's not the case.
I
obviously.
don't. I think the Nuggets will beat the Suns out of pure they have no bench, but I don't think the Nuggets would beat the Warriors.
Oh, I think they will.
Golden State is historically one of the worst away teams.
I know. It's weird, but I just get that feeling that I don't see realness from many of these other teams in the West. The Lakers would play the Warriors next if they both won.
Yeah.
correct? Do you see the Lakers beating the Warriors? I just don't.
No.
No. No.
I don't know.
It's possible,
It's,
but
it's possible, but like AD, AD gets hurt so often. I predicted injury.
And he's
throughout
been
for
weird
him.
too. He's kind of pulling a Joel Embiid where he's been like mopey the last couple
Oh,
of games.
very mopey.
I don't know if you noticed, but like I think it was last game, he literally like went to the bench and sat like 3 seats away from everybody else and like isolated himself. And literally the announcers were like, "What is he doing? Like, what is happening with this guy? Is he okay?" Like,
Right.
I forget who the hell's the announcer on that series, Eric? Is it Ian Eagle or whatever the fuck his name is?
just call me Eric.
Or
you
whatever.
just call him Eric.
Oh, because Eric just texted me, but never mind. Sorry, Eric.
Yes, Ian Eagle.
Ian Eagle, yeah. Why doesn't he pronounce it Ian?
Because Ian's cooler.
Huh?
Yeah,
Ask Rob
Ian,
McElhenney.
yeah.
That's his character's name in Mythic Quest.
So I do.
Ian?
We don't have like
Oh,
that.
no.
Before we like don't have much time left. I do want to talk about the draft.
You don't want to
so-
talk about broadcasters
Well,
more?
Well, shout out to Kevin Harlan. What a first round it's been for him. He's had some great moments.
You want to hear my mock
dagger.
draft?
R.I.P. Kate Scott Nala as no more.
Yeah.
Local.
What happened?
No more.
it's
No,
just
they
no
didn't
more.
die.
No more
tragically.
local. No more
9/11.
local broadcast after this
In a plane.
first round. So
No.
it'll only be national
You
broadcast.
just
wanna-
killed him off.
You want to hear my
Jesus.
mock draft? Top 10?
Well, sure. This is our transition into the draft talk before we end the show.
I watched a lot of tape this morning, okay, just for context, because I woke up with a burning desire to like understand who the hell is going to be a potential fantasy a member of my fantasy team next year. So I was like, oh, maybe I got to like look into
be
Does
this.
so
your
lucky.
does your league do keepers?
I
'Cause
don't.
then you really
I
got to
don't.
look at it.
No, I don't think so. No, we don't.
No,
do
you don't even know what
keepers.
keepers are.
No, you get to keep one guy for the next season.
There you
No,
go.
you don't get to do that. You don't, unfortunately, because mine every year would be Devontae Adams. But that's neither here nor there.
I'm about to be in a dynasty league.
Oh, what's that? No, never mind.
I'll tell you off air. No one cares.
But anyway, me and Vince Quid had a tremendous conversation. Star of Bell and the Birdman, the only rational man on Bell and the Birdman.
Sometimes.
That's just
Half
my,
the time.
That's just my, no.
Him and-
I-
him
You
and
have to
John-
remember.
Him and John trade off.
You have to
Birdman?
remember Vince wanted Russell Wilson.
yeah,
Yes.
no, oh yeah, no. He has
Birdman?
so-
He'll
Or
never.
Birdman.
He'll never live that.
No,
down.
never in a million
It's
years.
Birdman?
and,
And Marlon Mack.
And
Don't forget
Marlon Mack.
Marlon Mack was a bit.
Yeah, but he no, I
Was
don't
it?
know, man. Okay, whatever. But anyway, today he was normal. So
Just like you.
so I think
James is never normal.
No.
I think no, never. I think everyone is in agreement that the fake Bryce Harper is going to go to the Panthers, right? Like everyone agrees that Bryce Young,
Oh,
Bryce
yeah.
Young is going to go there.
That was the weirdest way to call him.
I mean, his name's
mean-
Bryce. I mean, what
Yeah,
other
but
Bryce
like, why
is
would
there
you
in
say
the
the
world?
fake Bryce Harper?
The fake Bryce Harper. So, do we all agree with that? He's going to go to Carolina.
Yes.
All right, cool. What about now? This is interesting. The Texans, because I'm a big Davis Mills.
They're
guy.
trying to trade out right now.
I know, but let's pretend that they're not going to do that because that's too confusing.
Why do you like Davis Mills?
I like Davis Mills.
you like
He's
the
electric,
randomest players, bro.
I know. I
just,
think.
just like good players.
All right, so I think the egomaniac C.J. Stroud's going to go to the Texans
Nice.
unless they do something insane like you were mentioning. What were
Will
we gonna say?
Levis.
See, here's the thing about Will Levis.
No,
I don't like him.
No,
at all.
I hate him.
I
but
don't like him at
He
all.
is. I don't.
He's
think
he's
gonna,
trending up for some reason.
I don't.
Yeah.
think he's
Who
gonna
said
be
they
good.
liked him? Wasn't the Colts said
The
they liked
Colts
him?
said
Yeah.
that they
Yeah.
liked him. Yeah, but I think Anthony,
That would just be on brand.
I
The
think
guy's
Anthony
jacked.
Richardson. Anthony Richardson's going to
If,
go to the
if
Colts.
I
think.
was, yeah, if
Nah,
I was
Lamar
a
to the Colts.
if I was a GM, I would take Richardson over Will Levis.
Hell no.
Now, what about the Cardinals? This is interesting
Yes.
because they
Now, is
need
Will Levis attractive?
no. The Cardinals. The Cardinals need a player at virtually every position. Like I'm pretty sure. So
Especially quarterback.
I don't know what they would do.
Can they
Buda
draft?
Baker
Can
replacement.
they draft a new uniform because those
They
ones
basically
released
have
are
like the
Mid.
Temple
PU.
University uniforms.
fucking PU.
But this is controversial because I was going back and forth with where Will Anderson's going to go, and I was kind of thinking the Cardinals. I don't know. Like I don't care about the Cardinals as a whole. To be honest.
Listen. Obviously, the Eagles pick number 10, but I always struggle to like mock these first like 15, the first round at all because I can't predict these trades.
But here's what I think is going to happen. You know, like the hot topic with the Eagles is Bijan Robinson. Obviously, we have the Bijan Robinson radio networks in this.
Can I real quick? Like, what the fuck is going on?
By the way,
I
real
li-
quick, J.P. Crawford, former Philly, just hit a go-ahead grand slam for the Mariners at Citizens Bank
I was
Park.
in an Uber heading down to the city before Game 4 of the Sixer series, and I was in an Uber for probably 45 minutes. All 45 of those minutes on WIP, the hour leading up to the game, was nothing but Bijan Robinson talk.
That's how it's been. But it's all going to be for
You'd
not.
think that this guy's going to be the next Barry fucking Sanders.
He very well may be, but I don't want him.
He's the biggest running back prospect since Barkley.
I
That's
think
why.
I think it has a lot to do with he has a cool first name and he's got mustard. I mean, that's really what this is.
Mustard?
He's got his own mustard.
I mean, just a terrible joke.
No, he seriously has his
He
own
does have his
I
own.
know, but
mustard line.
okay.
I mean, so stop shitting on me.
So Seamus just likes guys who have food lines like Cam Jurgens.
Yeah, I love Jurgens. But anyway, Jalen Carter, I think, is going to go in the top 5, and I think he's going to go to Seattle. I know a lot of people say, oh, they have to take a quarterback. They probably should. But, Geno Smith is like the next coming of Christ, apparently.
Draft.
It's not at all. Yeah.
No, I know, but I'm just saying.
I think they'll be fine for like his 3-year contract and then
Geno
they'll find
Smith,
someone.
baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, he stinks. There's no way.
You like him?
Yeah,
Davis
wait.
Mills.
That actually surprised me. He seems like a guy that you would love. Geno Smith,
Yeah,
big comeback story. Looks like Julius Randle.
he does look like Julius Randle. But anyway, so I'm just going to skip over
I was completely lying about that. By the way,
my next predictions, because here's where the Eagles shit gets interesting. All right, because a lot of people are having the Eagles take one of the cornerbacks available, and I don't know if they're even going to be like available at number 10. But like I don't know. Like, what would you do if you were the Eagles, Vince? Like what would you do?
Is Bijan on the board? Are we assuming that?
Bijan's still on the board, but again,
and we're taking
is
Bijan.
that the right move?
So, I know this is going to be like a cop-out. I really don't know because, like, drafting Bijan, at least you're getting a player who contributes, like, right away. Whereas if you draft one of these linemen or even one of these corners, you're drafting a backup. Like, you are. And do you look at the aspect of, like, fill need? First of all, running back is a need. But, like, do you look at filling needs or do you look at getting the best player on the board? Because there's a good chance that he will be the best player on the board.
Both. See, and this is why I'm, like, kind of torn. Because it's like, yeah, if you insert Bijan Robinson into this offense, it's fucking insane. It's already insane. It's going to be even more insane. And him with Jalen Hurts is going to be crazy. But, like, at the same time, I don't know. Like, it's not a traditional Howie Roseman move.
The amount of production you'll get out of a running back in like the 4th round, if you really
Pretty
want.
much the same. Yeah.
What's really going to be the gap between him and Bijan behind the best offensive line in football?
That's true.
Yeah.
But
Because you're not going to use him as a workhorse. That's the other thing.
No.
But I was thinking
that's not
I was
the
thinking
way
that the
they
Eagles
coach.
are going to take Paris
If
Johnson
we're
Jr.
talking about the
That's
drop
what I
off,
think is going to
if we're
happen.
talking about the drop off between the number one, I don't remember if he was the number 1 running back on the board, but if we're talking about the drop off between a 4th round running back and like the number 1 running back on the board,
Behind this O-line specifically.
look no further than when the Eagles wanted McCaffrey, didn't get him, and in that same draft drafted Donnell Pumphrey, who was then a 7th round pick in the XFL draft like 3 years later.
Well, how long do we think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be on the board? Like, is he going to be on there for number whatever?
I don't know. I haven't done any draft research whatsoever.
I haven't done enough, but like
I don't care about the draft.
He would likely be gone by 62.
By 62, yeah, because Jahmyr Gibbs is the second best running back on in the draft.
There's enough interesting running backs to pick from that I don't think he should set on Bijan.
The way I look at it is you're never going to draft this high, like, again, like, for the next couple of years,
Yes.
assuming, like, everything goes right for, Jalen and the franchise moves in the right direction. So, like, do you just draft a backup?
I
Because
just
that's
like-
what we're going to be drafting
But
if we don't take Bijan.
that's true. But I do like Paris Johnson because he's got experience at the guard position too. So it's like, yeah, I mean, he's going to be Lane's replacement, but like you said, right now that's not the time for that. I don't know. So I don't know what the fuck they're going to
Like,
do.
yeah, there's injuries with the line, but, like, you're drafting a guy who, in the best case scenario, doesn't play for a couple of years.
My other thing too with the line is like you can give anybody to Jeff Stoutland, he'll just turn them into a beast.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
like I don't really think we need a top 10 pick lineman, like offensive lineman.
I think that's what they're going to do. Though. I think that's what Howie's going to do.
Yeah, I mean, but you look at it like you look at Jeff Stout record, Stout record. You look
Stout
at,
record.
Let's call it that. Let's fucking
Hell yeah.
Jeff Stout record. And no, but you look back and like he has turned guys that you thought would never even be like a serviceable lineman in the NFL into absolute animals.
That's true.
I mean, look at Sayamalu. Like, what was he, like a 4th round pick? Obviously Mailata was like a project, but he was a fucking 7th round pick. Like it's just like he takes these guys and he turns them into monsters. So
He really
I mean,
does.
I'm not that worried about taking a lineman high. I'm really not.
I think we're going to take a lineman. That's all.
I mean,
I'd take a
I
D
wouldn't,
lineman.
it wouldn't be surprising
Yeah.
if they did. I wouldn't be, like, upset. It's kind of like what everyone has come to expect from the Eagles.
You know what I think? I think the Patriots end up with Bijan at 16.
Well, there is a lot of smoke for some reason.
I really do. I could see that.
A lot of people are mocking Bijan to the Falcons. at
Yeah.
8, which would be a terrible fit for both of them, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
the Falcons are in shambles.
we'll
They're a
see.
mess.
We'll see what happens.
The Falcons should be taking a quarterback, by the way.
Oh, for sure.
Desmond Ritter is
They need
not
a shot.
the answer.
Yeah.
Is Buda Baker an Eagle tomorrow?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I would not be surprised.
That would be sick.
You mean Friday at this point? Probably.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
Taylor. Tomato, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, fun day. Is Buda Baker an Eagle by the end of the week? Do we think so?
There's a decent chance. I mean, it's hard to predict that kind of stuff, but maybe.
I would love that.
I think so.
Like, how many
personally.
of us going into last year were like AJ Brown's an Eagle at
Oh,
the end of the
Yeah,
day?
no.
I've
that
said
wasn't
that.
even on
I've
anybody's
been
radar.
saying that for years. That
Like,
AJ Brown would end up an
Sometimes this
Eagle.
stuff just happens randomly. Like, don't
Except
get me
for
wrong.
me.
I get excited for the NFL draft, but like, there's no point in predicting anything.
Yeah.
Like, things happen, dude. We're talking a couple years
Things
ago.
do happen.
Like random things happen, things you will never see happening or like predict happen. Like,
And Howie's like the number one. Like, I'm just gonna
right.
fuck with your
Like,
brain,
who the
guy.
fuck would have
so-
not to beat a dead horse again, but who the fuck would have thought that we'd draft Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson? Shit just happens.
It does just happen. Howie Roseman
Oh,
is
man.
not the genius you think he is sometimes. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting day tomorrow. Pat, are you not going to the draft party?
No, I'm not.
Oh, it's a shame. That's a shame. Jake's going to be going to a draft party.
I know.
VIP.
Yeah, VIP, because that's what he is. But yeah,
Very
I'm
intoxicated person.
very intoxicated person. I'm going to be at work tomorrow.
Bingo.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, I think the Eagles are going to have a good draft, and Howie, I trust.
I want to say though, I do think like a lot of the philosophy talk of like the Eagles just don't draft running backs. Like, obviously, there's been that talk of the Eagles were gonna take McCaffrey if he was there that year, which I think that's getting a little overblown. Like, I don't if they don't take Bijan, I don't think that will be the reason why. Because it's like a thing the Eagles just don't do. I don't believe in that. They worked out Zeke. We're gonna draft McCaffrey.
you don't believe that people have a way of doing things, and the same people are going to continue to do the things that the way that they're doing them?
I think it all depends on who's there. Like, it all depends on circumstance. If there was a year where there was a running back that's really great and the Eagles were there to pick, I think they would take him.
Well, I guess we're going to find out tomorrow.
It just doesn't
because
happen a
Apparently,
lot.
Bijan is that guy.
Well, we'll see. Listen, I'll be very interested to see what
According to
happens
WIP.
According to WIP.
if Bijan gets past 8. There's a good chance he'll be there for us. So I don't know. Maybe we will pick him. If we do pick him, I'm not going to be mad. There's only a few guys that like we would pick that I would be mad. Van Ness from Iowa.
He stinks.
Yuck. Sorry, John Barchard, if you're listening to this. But
Nolan Smith, by the way, I'm staying
I
away
don't
from him.
want I don't want anything to do with Iowa football outside of
It's
like
so
offensive
bad.
linemen.
It's so horrifically
Dude,
bad.
honestly, like, shout out to like all the fans of that fucking team, because how do you put
Well,
up
they got Caitlin Clark, so
True.
they'll
No,
be
I'm
doing
talking
all
the
right.
football
true.
team
Yeah.
specifically. They play the most infuriatingly boring brand of football ever. The only thing that I respect about that team is the Children's Hospital wave. Everything else is so boring and
I don't know.
bland.
I have no idea what he's
what
talking
the
about.
fuck is the
You guys
Children's
don't-
Hospital
You
wave?
don't know what I'm talking about?
They hate child
They do
health.
that. They do
Yes.
that. You guys, none of you know what I'm talking
I
about?
know what you're talking about.
The tradition of Iowa football is before every home game, like next to the stadium, there's a very big children's hospital.
wave to
and
them?
the tradition is like the kids in the window, they wave and the players wave to the kids.
Oh.
Seamus hates kids.
Yeah, Seamus hates kids with cancer.
No, I mean, that sounds odd, but I guess it's a nice
That's like
thing.
one of the most like popular and famous. Jake, I'm not. You know what I'm talking about, right?
No, 100%.
Okay, I was going to say. I feel like I'm getting
It's very
gaslit right now.
heartwarming.
It's like probably
I
the.
just never heard of it.
It's like the most famous tradition in college football, like right
know-
now.
you know-
Besides Notre Dame.
You-
Yeah,
no, that is
Notre
a
Dame
very-
is the most tradition.
That is a very noble
Whoa,
thing
what
to
is
do.
what is Notre Dame's tradition?
They s-
everything.
They slap the play like a champion.
Yeah.
And then like touchdown Jesus.
Wow.
And
really-
they also-
really
Jesus.
original.
Oh, wait,
slapping
wait.
a sign
No,
when you leave your locker room.
Sorry, I
yeah, but it
forgot
says play
about.
like a champion.
I
today.
forgot about Notre Dame's tradition.
Every team does
I hate
that.
Notre Dame, by the way. So
Yeah,
it's
Notre
okay.
Dame sucks.
I forgot about
Fucking
Notre
hate
Dame's
Notre
tradition
Dame.
of
Rudy's
being.
a bitch.
I forgot
Well,
about.
let's not go there.
That movie sucks.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
It's fine. It's a fine sports movie.
All right, go
Nothing
ahead.
great.
Go ahead.
I
like
forgot
Bull
Notre
Durham.
Dame. I forgot Notre Dame's classic tradition of being overrated every year and then blowing it.
You know
and
what the
being
Children's
terrible.
Hospital wave reminds me of, real quick?
He's
Oh,
still
my-
stewing on this.
It reminds me of the
The Bruce Springsteen
no,
song.
No, the,
Hey,
the,
little
home,
girl.
the Home Alone scene where
What?
he waves at the kid dying of cancer in the hospital.
I've never seen it.
Yeah.
Wow.
You never seen Home Alone?
I just never.
What
watched
South
it growing
Park
up.
episode does it remind you
But
of?
you're standing for
The
Rudy.
Osama bin
The
Laden
9/11
one.
one.
I'm not
Yeah.
standing for Rudy. It's fine.
Standing for the anthem?
To be fair, when we went to the Phillies game the other week, he did stand for the
Because
anthem.
I'm not gonna. I would never create a scene like that. I'm not a hard ass.
You wouldn't create a scene like
Didn't you
like
do
that,
it on
like,
the Wildwood Boardwalk?
Like
I said hypothetically I would.
Why are we doing Pledge of
He sat
Allegiance on the
right-
Wildwood Boardwalk?
sat
Yeah,
right
Let's be
on-
real.
See, at
That's
least
weird.
Taylor asked the fair. Why the fuck? That is absurd.
I'm pledging
He
allegiance
sat right
behind
on top
the
of
funnel
his
cake
Bud Light
fucking-
aluminum pounder.
I just saw a video.
Jake, you have to admit that that's absurd that they do the national anthem and the Pledge of Allegiance on the Wildwood Boardwalk, right?
For what?
They just
They
do
just
it.
do
They
it
just-
randomly.
just-
It's absurd, dude.
It's a little.
While two homeless
While
people,
I'm eating-
That's
while
why
I'm
I don't
eating
go
a-
to the shore.
Yeah, while I'm eating a funnel
while
cake.
two homeless people are having sex underneath the boardwalk,
Yeah.
the national
Under
anthem
the
is playing.
boardwalk.
Like,
Do you
dude,
think they stopped to
We'll
put
be
their
getting
hearts up there?
AIDS.
probably they're brainwashed.
Yeah, mid-stroke. Okay.
Well, yeah.
All right. Anyway, not to get
they're
on the,
probably not conservative.
but Van Ness would be one of the players that I would not want
already
the
guessed.
Eagles to draft.
Oh
That's
man.
really like it. I don't even know how to recover
well,
from that.
I mean, to wrap it
Yeah,
up,
it's over.
to wrap it up, the Phillies are down
God
5-2 at
bless
home
America.
against the Mariners.
Can we reinstate reinstate that Seamus is out on the Phillies
No, I'm not out.
per the group?
He's
chat.
not out.
Nope. Nope.
He said he was out like 3 days ago.
He
No, I
says
didn't.
that like every couple days.
never said
He's
that.
never
Yes, you
actually.
did.
I said
You
I was
did say
I
that.
said I was frustrated, not out.
No,
It's
you
okay.
did
It's
say you were
April. These
out.
games don't count anyway.
Well, I'm back.
If you ask a casual, these games don't count.
All right, I'm
they
gonna
don't
find
matter.
it.
I'm so back.
All right, that's all we got. Before we go, I wanted to point. So we're gonna point to Pat O'Leary as our model. So last year we launched a T.
Put it back, you
Sorry.
fucking moron.
Last year we launched the T Public store. We're gonna go post it on Twitter again.
Giving the
But
shirt
it's
a
in our
mark.
bio on Twitter. You can click our link tree and you will see at the very top, shop our merch. Everything's available on T Public, from Seamus clapping in my face. Shirts, hoodies, baseball shirts, the wall art, phone cases, pretty much anything you can imagine this T Public store has with our logo on it. You can
Pocket
get
pussies,
a bunch of different,
everything.
a bunch of different colors. And
This one is personally my favorite. For those listening, it is a maroon shirt
Beautiful.
with a Phillies powder blue
Oh,
from the
yeah.
Nosebleeds logo, and it is fucking gorgeous.
and
Beautiful.
T Public pretty much has sales on their merch like
Every
day.
weekend.
Like,
Every weekend.
Yeah, there's never not a sale on that website. So
Mhm.
if you want to support us, you'd really just be supporting us by spreading the logo.
One
and
lucky
spreading awareness.
listener who DMs me, I will buy you a shirt. So DM me, but you also have to hook me up with an
Hold on,
attractive
let me-
female. in
I
your
was about to
family.
say, let me actually add on to that. The first female that offers Seamus a date,
Oh,
you will get free
God.
merch.
You get a free shirt.
No.
A date?
And
Yeah.
you get a free ticket to Sundays at the Phillies.
yeah.
Right to the scoreboard.
All right, this has been from the Nosebleeds.
Wait, I just have to read.
By the way, I met Jordan Mailata over the weekend.
on Thursday, Seamus said, "I'm out until proven otherwise." Seriously.
And you haven't been proven. You have not been proven otherwise.
Yes, I have.
They were hard. They lost yesterday,
Yeah, but they won.
and they're losing today.
But they won a game before that.
A game.
What is their record right now?
They're 6-4 in their last 10.
No.
That's all you got to know. They're
What's the
back.
record?
Nick Castellanos
What's
is back.
what's
Go
the record?
Birds.
This has been from
Nick
the
Castellanos
Nosebleeds.
is back. They're 3 games back.
Shop
All right?
our
What's
merch.
the record?
They're 3 games back.
Talk
They're
to
better
me.
than the Sixers.
Just tell me what. But the
They're-
Sixers are the playoffs.
they're
I don't know
better
if
than
this-
the Sixers!
It's going to be the playoffs.
Play the song.